Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the DCL Duo Podcast, brought to you by My Path Unwinding Travel. And as you can tell from hearing my voice instead of Brian's, I'm solo hosting today. But never fear, I am not alone. You will not just have to hear me drone on for this entire episode. I've got a great guest with me today. I've got Chris joining me. He is a second-time guest on the show. He is a platinum cruiser with Disney Cruise Line. And we're going to talk today about his first time on the Disney Treasure. Welcome to the show, or welcome back to the show, Chris.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a really good time on the Treasure, so this will be fun. We just got back a few days ago, but we got off the ship about a week ago. So
awesome. Well, you guys are California based, so I know you're big Disneyland people. And you also have sailed, as I mentioned, now 10 times on Disney Cruise Line. Tell our audience, what I know you were on the last time you were on a couple of years back, we talked about a transatlantic cruise that you did, a westbound transatlantic, but tell folks what kinds of itineraries you and your family have done on Disney Cruise Line.
yeah, we live in San Diego, so we do quite a few of the sailings out of San Diego, usually on the Wonder, although I think next spring we're going to have the Wonder and the Magic. So that'll be pretty exciting. And then the rest of them have been, except for the transatlantic that we did in 2024, the rest of them have been based in the Caribbean out of Florida. We've sailed, for, I guess not technically as of about a week, we've sailed all the ships except for the Destiny. I think its maiden is in a few days here, but.
Yes. We're recording on November 16th and its maiden is in exactly 4 days, November 20th. And Brian and I just got back from the preview, and then in 3 days we will head back to Florida. Yeah, for the maiden. So we'll have lots more content out between the time that this episode is recorded and when it airs, all about the Destiny. And then we're going to be waiting for, that 8th ship, the Adventure, coming a couple months later. Any plans to sail on Destiny or Adventure?
I've been up and down on the Destiny. So when they first announced it, I was a little disappointed, to be honest. And it was kind of I like the theme. I like the hero and villains theme. But then, the Haunted Mansion Parlor is coming back, which I loved. But it just felt like the reuse, and they could have done some more unique stuff. So I was a little bit down. And then they did kind of a first preview, and I got a little bit more excited. I like the villain stuff looked pretty interesting. I did watch your live show on Friday. Those kind of villain interactions or encounters, I'm not sure what they're calling them. Those look pretty interesting. So now I'm a little bit more up. And we'd probably book it. Now for the Adventure, I go to Asia quite a bit. I go to China about 4 times a year for work. And so I really like spending time over there, but they have to change the itineraries. I'm not interested in going all the way to Singapore and just doing 4 sea days or 3 sea days or whatever they're doing, and then back. So if they start doing some ports, then I'll absolutely look at the Adventure.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right in, Chris, to your sailing on the Treasure. And we got to start with, why did you choose to sail on the Treasure? Was it that 7-night itinerary you just had to get, or was it the parks theming? What drew you in to book the Treasure?
A little bit of both. We're big parks people. And in fact, we spent the day before the cruise in the parks, or half a day for me, half a day for my wife. And then the dates just really worked out. We wanted a week, and the dates really worked out. We needed to be in Florida for a conference. My wife and I own an ice cream business in addition to my regular work. And every year there's a big kind of convention and contest. And this year was in Florida starting November 9th or 8th. And,
I got to ask about this ice cream business. What is the ice cream company?
It's called Winston's Ice Cream Co. So WYNSTONS.
Okay.
And we have 2 locations down here in San Diego, and then just make our own ice cream and sell it. And we've won some awards. We came home from this particular conference a few days ago. We won 3rd place in the non-dairy flavor of the year.
Oh my gosh!
It's kind of a
non-dairy.
Weird one.
Wow,
yeah, non-dairy.
That's a really hard, probably category.
Yeah, non-dairy is pretty hard. Yeah, and I felt like the non-dairy submissions I thought were stronger than the dairy submissions this year. It was pretty interesting. People are getting pretty inventive.
Yeah.
So that was pretty exciting.
Did you win for a particular flavor? I've got to ask.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird one. So this year we submitted a flavor called Pickle Whiskey Sour. And it was lemon, lime, pickle juice, some whiskey.
Oh my God.
And it had a spicy swirl, like a chamoy swirl that we did.
Oh my God. Okay, that's not my jam for ice cream. I'm gonna put that out there. I'm more of a like cookies and cream kind of a girl.
Yeah,
when it
our
comes
cookies
to
and
ice
cream is awesome. Yeah, our cookies and cream is my favorite.
All right. Are they all non-dairy or are they all?
No, we have, so our menu has 18 flavors and 2 of them, we rotate 9 of them every month and we rotate an additional 2 that are non-dairy. So seven that are always there. Cookies and cream is always there. And then we have 2 non-dairy and 9 kind of seasonal that we have fun with for the month.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, Chris, the next time we're down in San Diego, we are going to come and find Winston's ice cream.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The closest one to downtown, so I live about 45 minutes north of downtown, and our closest shop is maybe, it's probably 20, 25 minutes from downtown.
That's okay. Well, I'll travel for ice cream, especially really good ice cream.
If you're going to the safari park, it's like exactly halfway from downtown to the safari park.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't like the safari park? Yeah, love it. Okay, awesome. Well, plug for Winston's ice cream. I love hearing about people's small businesses. It's always like a fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. So you had to be down in Florida early, and then you had how many? So you had one full park stay. You had this conference. Where did you guys stay in the Orlando area?
Yeah, it got a little complicated. We were flying in. The cruise was departing November 1st. We were flying in on the 30th. I had a last minute, so I still work full time in addition to the ice cream. I had a last minute business trip, and I had to fly to Montreal for 3 days, and then I was flying from Montreal to Orlando. My wife was flying San Diego to Orlando, and we were going to meet. I think our flights landed like 45 minutes apart. I was en route from Montreal to Detroit. My wife was in the air from San Diego to Atlanta, and I got a text that my flight was delayed from Detroit to Orlando by like 3 hours. I was like, oh man. So, I'm texting my wife, I'm going to get there really late. If you want to grab an Uber. That night we were staying at Grand Floridian. We're DVC owners, so we had one night at Grand Floridian. I couldn't get 2 nights anywhere. Not a single DVC hotel had those 2 nights.
I hate when that happens because I'll be honest. I know some people love the split stay thing. I actually hate it because to me, there's nothing worse than having to like pack and unpack and repack and schlep from one hotel to another, either by Uber or by, even shuttles. I think I don't enjoy it. I don't care that it's like, oh, I get to see 2 different resorts. No, I just want to stay in the same bed.
Same with me, but I couldn't do that. We had one night at Grand Floridian and then a night at Boardwalk.
I think the best combination, if you have to switch hotels, would be at least in the same area, right? So if you could go like from Grand Flo to like Palo or something.
Exactly. And I messed up. I took my bags down to Bellhop the morning after Grand Floridian. They were just going to take them over to Boardwalk. But I forgot where I was, and I told them I was going to Beach Club.
Oh, no.
So we get over to Boardwalk at the end of the day, and our bags aren't there. I was like, oh, where did I send them? And I was like, oh, no, I sent them to the Beach Club. And so we had to walk.
You had to walk and go get them yourself.
Yeah, I had to walk and go get them. But anyway.
At least they're both in that Epcot resort area.
Yeah,
it is at least it's walkable, but what a pain. I'm sorry.
I feel like an idiot. But anyway, my flight was delayed. And then I'm dealing with that. I'm chatting. I was flying Delta. We were both flying Delta. And I'm chatting with the Delta agent, seeing if there's just any other options, and there weren't. And while I'm doing that, I got a notification that my wife's flight was canceled. So there was a staffing shortage from the government shutdown in Orlando, and flights were getting all messed up. So I'm texting my wife, well, it looks like your flight's canceled now. So she's trying to see if she can fix it. And there's just nothing else out of Atlanta. And so long story short, I ended up getting there. I was the last flight to land in Orlando that night. I got in at about 12:30 a.m. She did not. She ended up having to get in a hotel in Atlanta, and then they flew her out the next morning. And so she joined me. So I woke up.
Yeah, at least she was in Atlanta, though, and she wasn't still in San Diego.
If it was like the night before, she would have rented a car and just drove down, and it would have been okay. But she still had that extra day. So I woke up, went to the Magic Kingdom by myself for a while. She finally got over there about 1, 2 o'clock, met me. And that was great because she just made it. We had Beacon Barrel reservations, the new bar there. So we wanted to check out. That was kind of the primary reason. And so she got there just in time for that. And then we went over to Epcot and just kind of enjoyed the food and wine for a little bit.
Awesome. All right. Well, then you're at Boardwalk before you're heading to the port, to Port Canaveral to board the Treasure. So that's always a Saturday morning. Saturday is the day that the Treasure embarks and disembarks. So tell me, how did you guys get down to Port Canaveral? Did you take the Disney shuttle?
We did for the first time ever. So we're used to being 4 of us. It was just my wife and I on this particular cruise. Normally, well, not normally, the last few, it's just been us. Our kids are now both in college. They're older, so we don't take them anymore. They're on their own. And normally, when it's the 4 of us, it's about
kids,
the same price to get.
Pay your own way,
yeah,
kids.
Exactly.
Come on.
Figure it out.
Get a job.
I keep telling them. And so it's about the same price to do private transportation when it's the 4 of us. So that's what we usually do. But with the 2 of us, we decided to do the Disney transportation. Plus, when I checked in, even with Platinum, when we checked in, we were like boarding group 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which seemed really, really late for Platinum.
Yeah. It's gotten, I think, because of so many people, I think, take Disney transportation and then because there's so many pearls, right? Because pearls, like you've got concierge is always like in that first group. Pearl is generally group 2. There's a ton of platinums, and then there's a ton of people who take Disney transportation, and they tend to get the earliest boarding groups. Yeah.
For reference, we checked in and then we decided to do the Disney transportation. When we checked in for the Disney bus at the hotel, she said, "Oh, you're a later boarding group here." She gave us like a little paper ticket. Said, "Just you're boarding group 4 now." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah. They, I think that's a very smart way to go. I think, especially when, like you said, if you're 4 people, the cost is probably the same whether you're on Disney transportation or private transportation, either Uber or car service or whatever. But if you are only 2 people or even 3 people, you probably save money using Disney transportation. I do think a lot of people choose the Disney transportation just for like the convenience factor of it. But also if they have little kids, they don't have to worry about car seats, which is obviously a kind of
absolutely
super helpful thing. But for those of us with, well, big kids, I mean, you got bigger kids, but we have almost 12-year-old now. It definitely, it's very easy to do either.
I'm pretty sure every time we went when our kids were in car seats, we just rented a car with a car seat just because it was easy and we knew
That's
we
an
had
easy
it.
way. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the port transportation. They pick you up right at the Boardwalk Hotel. Were they doing stops at multiple hotels or just your hotel?
They did, but we were last. It wasn't even early. I think we met in the lobby at like 9, if I remember correctly. Got on the bus maybe 9:30, 9:45. We were the last ones. Literally, the last 2 people were my wife and I to get on the bus. Driver jumped on and said, "Here we go."
And also, your bags are taken for you. Or you leave.
Yeah, they take them right from your room. You just put them outside your door to your room. I didn't even know that.
I know, cool. Isn't that incredibly convenient?
Yeah.
You don't have to schlep. All you schlep is your backpack or day bag, whatever you're want to have.
Which was heavy because we always take our own wine. Well, not always. We usually take our own wine. And so I had 4 bottles of wine in my backpack.
Right,
it was
2 for you, 2 for your wife. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, for those who don't know, you're allowed to bring wine or beer on board a Disney cruise. For every adult over the age of 21, you can have 2 bottles of wine, or you can have a 6-pack of beer. You cannot combine like the 6-pack of beer and a bottle of wine. You have to choose either 2 bottles of wine or 1 6-pack of beer, and then you can, per adult. So no liquor. That will get confiscated. And I mean, you'll get it back, but it'll get confiscated at the port from you. So don't do that.
If you're wondering, we learned the wine glasses on the ship, they hold perfectly a half a bottle of wine per glass.
Wow. Yeah. That's a real full glass.
It's very full and people will make a lot of comments, but
people will be like, you are going hard.
Fill it up, go to dinner, and you can take it after dinner and you kind of last a while. So it's pretty good.
Yes. And the pro tip with, if you want to take it to dinner, is you need to pour it into the glass in your room. Because technically this is a cheating, I guess, technically speaking, because you're supposed to pay corkage fee, of course, for the bottles you bring on board if you bring them to the restaurants. But if you pour it into a glass in your room, nobody knows where that glass of wine came from. You could have bought it at any one of the bars around the ship, and so nobody's checking, and so then you won't pay a corkage fee. But just a heads up, technically that's not allowed, but I don't know that anybody's enforcing that rule. So you just don't bring the bottle to the dining room though, because then your wait staff is in the awkward position of having to charge you with a corkage fee, and they hate to do that. They don't want to charge you a corkage fee. Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump on board, Chris. You get to the port. It sounds relatively easy. How's the check-in process?
Super smooth. We had The airport Canaveral in the Disney terminal, it's so smooth. You walk up to the little counter, they activated our magic bands. We went through security. We did go up and inquired about an upgrade at port. They did have them, but it was a little pricey, and we were like, yeah, I don't know that it's worth it. And so we decided not to. But I think we waited maybe 15 minutes tops, and then they were boarding our group, so we just walked on and
that's
had our name
awesome.
announced. Yeah,
I will say I've heard from a lot of folks that port upgrades to concierge have been quite available lately on several ships. Not of course the entire fleet, but generally speaking, it seems like concierge upgrades have been available quite a bit, especially in the sort of shoulder season, so non-holiday sailings.
yeah, I can
Um,
see that.
yeah, but it is pricey, and I think to your point about it being worth it, I think a lot of the benefit of concierge is that early booking. And so once you don't, and of course, if you do a port upgrade, you don't get that. So you're not going to get any benefit of like, oh, I have a better chance of getting a cabana or something like that. Or, I mean, you do have it will help you get adult dining if you're unable to get that in advance. It will give you early theater access. Like there are wonderful benefits to being concierge and to being able to access the lounge. But that early benefit, I think, is one of the sort of key benefits that you're paying for. And so, of course, it is not as expensive to upgrade as it is to book concierge in the first place. So maybe there's a trade off.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I think that gap should be bigger.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
the upgrade was more than our fare, right? For our and we had just the regular family veranda, not the deluxe one, so not the bigger one. And to upgrade, it was more than our fare just for the room, right? And I was like, yeah, I just don't know that we're getting the value there.
Well, and the minimum concierge room is technically the deluxe
The
family
deluxe family, yeah,
veranda. Yeah,
yeah,
it is. That's the smallest concierge
yeah.
room available. There is no, well, there is an ocean view on the Wish class ships, but it is a larger. It's a forward facing all window, one wall. It's a beautiful room. It's actually more expensive than the veranda room typically, even though it has no veranda, but it's huge. It's it feels like a one bedroom being in that space. Well, let's jump onto your welcome on board the Disney Treasure. Of course, you walk the gangway, you tell them your name, they announce your family name onto the beautiful Disney Treasure. What did you think of the ship? What did you think of the atrium or the Grand Hall?
Yeah, the atrium's awesome. We both, my wife and I, really like the design of the atrium, and it felt so unique versus all the other ones because they're also much brighter and blues and whites and golds. And to have this one be a little bit darker blue and gold, and it really kind of stuck out to us. And they were also, we didn't expect it. They were that day they had just finished the last Halloween on the high seas, and so they had taken all the Halloween decorations down, and they were putting up Christmas decorations, even though we were not a very maritime cruise. The tree was put up and all the decorations in the atrium, all the lights and stuff. So that was pretty cool. We didn't expect that.
Oh, I love that. I have to say I love the Christmas decorations. If you get a chance to see, holiday decorations on any of the ships on Disney Cruise Line, they do just such a nice job. And you're right, they take down Halloween and
It's
Christmas
fast.
season starts. It's really, yeah.
It's right away.
Right away. All right. Well, tell me, what's your sort of tradition? Where do you go first when you board a Disney ship?
It's changed. So with the kids, we'd always go to cabanas or Marceline Market. Now that's just my wife and I. We tend to go do the sit down. And so I believe it was, we went to Coco. That's right. They were doing sit down at both 1923 and Coco. We went to Coco because we wanted to check it out, even though the menu we knew was going to be the same. We just kind of wanted to check out the space. So we went to Coco and had the sit down lunch, which was nice. But that's kind of our new tradition now is.
Yeah, I love the sit down lunch. We don't always do it, but it's definitely my preferred way to start a cruise. It kind of sets the tone of relaxation.
We find we're spending less and less to almost no time in cabanas or Marceline Market. It's so chaotic that we tend to, if we're there, it's like a quick breakfast, just grab some food, and sometimes we take it back to our room or go find a quiet space to sit down and eat.
Yeah, I find if I go into Marceline Market or Cabanas, it's to grab food. I might eat out on the pool deck, or I might bring it back to my room. But especially on the Wish class, I feel like I tend to eat that pool deck food
Yeah,
always.
it's
If
so
I'm
much better.
Yeah, if I'm not in the dining room, I'm eating Donald's Cantina, or I'm eating some pizza or Mickey Smokestack Barbecue. I mean, all that stuff is just like so good. Yeah. Well, let's dive into some of the activities you did on board the Disney Treasure. Of course, there's all these activities hosted by Sage and Coriander. Did you get a chance to check out all the new entertainment on board the Treasure?
We did a lot of. There's so much. I couldn't believe how much there is on this particular ship compared to the other ones. But yeah, we did.
And wait, because there's more.
Yeah, and even more in the Destiny, right? Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I love it because it felt like even after a week, we're like, wow, we didn't even see everything. I could absolutely easily do another sailing on the Treasure and feel like it's new. So we did Sage and Coriander. We just we loved. We thought they're so good. We had, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos. We didn't have the original Coriander and Sage. I think we had the Team Beta. I don't want to call them Team B because I don't think they're worse. The secondary team. But what they did, we didn't see all of them, and we missed a couple things we wanted to do, but sometimes there was just conflicts. Like I said, there was so much going on. So they did like some storytelling in the atrium. That was fun. They did Peter Pan, and it was funny because the Peter Pan character sat down and listened.
Oh,
and
that's so they're kind of fun.
Yeah, they were like playing kind of off of him and having fun with it.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That's clearly new iteration because they have changed what they talk about. Because we saw one that was a Aladdin themed storytelling, and then there was another one that they did. I can't remember what the other one was that was put on after, and then they sort of. I think it seems like they're changing it, and then we just saw Destiny, a Sleeping Beauty version of it. Yeah. So it's just
they did
really
Muppets Treasure Island. Like what? It was. I couldn't believe when they said we're going to do Muppets Treasure Island. I went, holy cow! So they did a whole kind of reenactment telling of Muppets Treasure Island.
Oh, Chris, how was
super
that?
Cool. It was great. Oh. Yeah, really, really funny. Like a lot of good jokes, and it was really good. They're playing some of the parts, like playing Miss Piggy, playing Kermit, doing voices, and I thought they did a really good job.
Okay, I'm super jealous, I gotta tell you, because I mean, I'm a big Muppets fan. I love that movie. I love the Muppets Christmas Carol, and I love Muppets Treasure Island. Those are like two of my favorites. And we haven't been on the Treasure since our last spring break trip. We're going this coming spring break, so in April, but I cannot wait now to get back on the Treasure and see that. Well, who knows? They might, they'll change it up every once in a while. So who knows what they'll be doing. But that sounds awesome. Did you get to go see the Indiana Jones Choose Wisely?
That was a highlight of the trip for us. It was so funny. And I just think they do that so good. And in fact, the Destiny version, the Marvel one, I thought, look, I just saw yesterday that Deadpool swears. I was like, oh my gosh, Disney's getting edgy on the boats. I kind of like it.
Well, by the time this episode comes out, later, people will know. But you're right. So we didn't on our live show. We didn't tell anyone. But
I saw it somewhere else.
Deadpool does make an appearance, a virtual appearance. I'll say that.
Okay.
And yes, there is swearing. Yeah. It is an adult show.
It is, yeah. And there's some adult jokes in the Indiana Jones one, but we just thought it was super entertaining. I think the addition of them as kind of entertainment just added a lot. Even like Meet Your Matey. We didn't do Meet Your Mate because we knew we were going to do Meet Your Matey, but just having like the I don't want to put down the entertainment staff that are normally on the ships because they're always great. But having like a trained actor who was up there kind of hosting and leading it just made it so much better.
Yeah, it amps it up to another level. So yeah, there's Match Your Matey and there's Match Your Mate. So Match Your Mate is for those who don't know, Match Your Mate is a traditional sort of newlywed game, I'll call it. It's Disney's version of the newlywed game. It is adult only for a reason because there are some adult questions that they ask. It's really, really funny. It's usually hosted by the entertainment staff. But on the Treasure, they introduced a new version in addition to Match Your Mate called Match Your Matey, and it's a pirate night version of it where they ask completely different questions than the regular version, and it is hosted by Coriander and Sage as pirates, and it's just really, really fun. And it doesn't have to be a couple. It could be like friends sometimes will be the contestants instead of being a couple, which typically Match Your Mate is three different couples. So yeah, really, really fun. I think there is some great additions to the entertainment on board. All right, well, speaking of entertainment, I of course have to ask you about the stage shows. One, did you go see all three of them? Of course, two of them are repeats from other ships that you've already been on, but Seize Your Adventure, Beauty and the Beast, and A Tale of Moana are the three shows on the Disney Treasure. I got to ask, did you go to all of them and what did you think?
We did, yeah. And they're all pretty good to great. So Seize Your Adventure, I would say, is the pretty good one. It's better than, Dream and Believe, because it just has the classic characters, and I think that makes it more fun. But, it's not like the most amazing thing ever. Beauty and the Beast, still probably the best show in the fleet. It's so good. And then Moana was excellent, particularly the puppetry. The actors were great. I think Moana has the one challenge, same challenge that Aladdin has. If the genie is not amazing, the show doesn't feel amazing. And I think Moana has a similar, not quite to the same degree, with Maui. And we had a little struggle. It's not his fault, right? And I'm sure it's really hard to find jacked Hawaiian actors who can sing and act. But he was like kind of skinny, kind of small and scrawny. I was like, I don't know. It just doesn't look like Maui. And he did a fine job. His singing was good. He acted great. But it was a little hard for my brain sometimes.
Yeah. So I agree that I think it's a huge challenge in casting Moana, not for the most of the characters. I think most of the characters are not too difficult to cast, but I think casting Maui, because The Rock was such an iconic voice, and then even the animated Maui is such a particular he has a particular body type, right? And so it's hard to get like the voice, the character, the rapping, the singing, all of that in one person who can do it on stage. Because let's be honest, even The Rock couldn't do it on stage. I bet he couldn't play Maui to our satisfaction on a theater stage, right? And so getting somebody who can do all of that on a theater stage, but also is kind of jacked like The Rock, I don't know that person exists, right? Like, and also maybe is like Asian or Hawaiian at least, or kind of in looking kind of like that. Yeah, it's a tall order. Yeah, but yeah. So I'm very I try to suspend my thinking when I'm watching one of those shows, and try and divorce the stage show from the animated. It's very hard to do, but it's one of those things I think you kind of have to in order to give those actors sort of a fair chance. But yeah, I think it's an excellent production. They did a really nice job.
I thought Moana visually was probably the most stunning stage show I've ever seen. You can almost take a photo of any second out of that show and you'd be like, wow, that's an incredible looking.
Yes,
Just
and
because
you're
of
right.
the way the whole thing is staged and
Yes,
lit, and it's
it
incredible.
is. Yeah, it's really well done in the costuming and the staging and the puppetry, and not just the Tafiti Taka puppetry, even like the Maui puppetry stuff that they do. I won't spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but there's this whole scene where Maui keeps changing
Yeah,
into
to
different
the bird and
animals.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just
it's
they
wild.
do. It was really, really
Yeah.
smart the way that they did it, and I thought it's genius and beautiful.
Early on, adolescent Moana changes into teenage normal Moana, and I was like, "Whoa, what the heck? How did that even happen?" Like, I didn't even catch it.
I know, right? And the adolescent Moana, they do also a really good job casting her too, because they gotta get an adult who, like, looks really young,
Yes, exactly.
obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely, like I said, hard to cast, but they I think do a really, really good job on board. Well, we've got to talk dining because of course you've got the newest addition to the treasure was Plaza de Coco. You also have the second show in Marvel, which is an addition to what the first show they had in Marvel on the Wish. You get a second menu in 1923, but of course no show in 1923. I got to ask what you thought of. I mean, let's start at the top. Let's start with Plaza de Coco. What did you think of the two shows, the two menus in that restaurant, sort of the decor of that restaurant as well? What did you think of that experience?
We really liked it. If I had one complaint, it's my wife and I really don't like World of Marvel, and it has nothing to do with the decor or the show. It's just it feels like I'm in a cafeteria and just like these rows of seats. And,
I never heard
just
it described as a cafeteria,
yeah,
but
it just really drives us nuts. And Coco's a little bit of the same feeling. I just think if they'd done some round tables interspersed with some square tables, it'd like give a little space and kind of take away some of that feeling. But beside that, we thought the shows were great. They could have been a little longer actually. Now we had to leave early the first night because we had 8:15 dining and we had a 9 o'clock whiskey tasting that night, and so we were like, okay, well, let's eat fast and get out of here. So we actually left in the middle of the second show that night. Food wise, we thought it was great. I went in kind of expectations a little bit lower just because I'd heard a lot of people like, oh, this is really good. This one's maybe a miss. But like everything I had was really good. The empanadas and the enchilada appetizer, that was great.
Oh, the enchilada appetizer. I'm like still dreaming of that enchilada
The
appetizer.
carnitas were really good.
Yes, that's what I had too.
Yeah.
I've had that a couple times now. I love the pork carnitas and I love that and the enchilada appetizer.
I thought it was great. Now, I mean, we live in San Diego. We have Mexican food every
You have the
50
best
feet.
Mexican food.
And we eat it all the time.
Yeah.
But I could see like having some more traditional options on that menu, like just some tacos or just, something a little bit more simple. I think maybe attract more people. But we really like the food. And I'll say our serving staff were like crazy, ridiculous good. It was our 11th sailing and we've had some really good ones. I wouldn't say we've even really ever had bad service. But sometimes it takes a little longer or it's a little bit slower. We were ordering and our food was being set down hot, like piping hot in like a minute.
Wow.
Our service staff was just on it every night.
I have to say I have had bad service. Thankfully, yeah, okay. Thankfully it's only been on one sailing, but it was bad service. Every other time I've had great or just fine. Not great, but okay, but yeah, just one time bad service. Yeah.
And we saw, I assume we saw not our serving staff, but we saw a lot of staff, a lot of cast members on board with the little earning my ears ribbons. I assume a lot of people moved over to the Destiny. And so they were training a lot of new people. Now it didn't, like I said, our serving staff were all there for a while. But like just incredible. I'm used to your food coming, hot, but not like crazy hot, which is fine with me. But our food was like piping hot every time it was set down in front of us. I was really impressed with how on top of the service our team was.
That's awesome. Yeah. I have to say, I think the service can make a huge difference in your experience on board. Like if you get a good serving team versus if you get a bad or just mediocre, serving team, that can really impact your sailing. I think you're absolutely right that you have probably seen more earning your ears flags on people's name tags. We saw quite a few of them on the Destiny as well. I think it's the result of the increase in, adding 2 ships like at the same time. And of course, the Adventure is now delayed, but they had to do a ton of hiring for both the
Adventure they have to hire
and
probably
the
like
Destiny.
4,000 people or something.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it's more than that, probably more like 6,000 people because like 2,000 people for the Destiny and 4,000 people for the, for the Adventure. So yeah, so you're talking about a huge ramp up in hiring. And what they try to do is they try to spread out the experienced people and spread out the new people so that no individual ship is all new people or all experienced people. But, some of the experienced people have 20 years of service. Some of the experienced people have 2 years of service. And there's a difference there as well. So yeah, it definitely, I think we're going to see across the fleet for the next 2 years, we're going to see a lot more earning your ears flags on people's name tags. And then of course, as the fleet continues to grow, that will continue to happen year over year. But I think the introduction of 2 ships basically at the same time is making a big impact in that way. Well, what did you think of I know you don't like Marvel or Worlds of Marvel, but what did you think of the second show in comparison to the first show? Because they are different experiences. You've got Groot and Rocket as opposed to the now Spider-Man, but Ant-Man, other Avengers. The Wasp. Thank you. Ant-Man and the Wasp are the sort of main characters. Spider-Man comes in, but there's a bunch of other characters as well with sort of the ship takeover by Ultron. What did you think of the new show?
So we unfortunately didn't get the new show. So how Marvel's kind of split in half. There's like 2 different things and they run the show at different times. The other half, their show worked because we saw it on the way out. Our show had some technical problem and all the screens just said input, like missing input or something like that. And they never fixed it. We didn't ask, but they never fixed it. So we sat there the entire meal. I think there was a little bit of ambient music, but yeah, the screens just said input missing or whatever on all the screens. And so we didn't get the last show.
That's disappointing, Chris.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm sorry. Did Disney do anything about it?
They didn't even say anything about it. And like I said, we didn't ask. My wife and I, we were just having our own conversation and not really thinking about it. And again, you're so close to everyone. There was a family of 4 next to us. My wife grew up in Brazil. She speaks Portuguese. And so they were speaking Portuguese, and my wife couldn't help herself. After 6 nights, she finally kind of jumped into their conversation. And so we ended up kind of having a long conversation about
how did she wait 6 nights before jumping in, Chris?
Yes,
I would have been
great question.
I would have been
she
talking
showed
with them by
incredible
night
resilience.
too. I wouldn't have even taken 2 nights. I mean, I don't speak Portuguese, but like I can't help myself. If people are talking about something that I am interested in, and if it happened to be in like the second language that I knew, I'd probably jump in right away. I mean, Brian's always given me that look of, Sam, stop jumping in other people's conversations. It's kind of a thing.
They were having their own little family time, and now it's all of our time.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, I'm sorry that you guys missed the second show of Marvel.
That's okay.
What did you think of the food, 1923 and in Marvel, because you had those second menus?
Yeah, 1923. Oh yeah, that second menu was terrible.
Yes, terrible, right? I'm sorry to say it.
I love the first night menu.
I love the first night menu too, and that second night menu is bad.
And I can't even remember what I got on it.
Yes, it's got the lobster on it. Listen,
my wife got the lobster.
Yeah, a lot of people order the lobster and they're happy with it. I do not order the lobster because I'm not happy with it. I have ordered the lobster, and every time I've ordered it, I'm not happy with it.
I can't even remember what
it's
I got.
Just
I remember going, but this is really disappointing. If they said, hey, you're president of Disney Cruise Line tomorrow, the first thing I'm doing is, one thing in the survey, I'm going to pull on all the individual menus and we're going to make some changes. But two, I'm going to rotate menus at least every 6 months, and just change them up, because it gets to be, we've had the same thing on like 6, 7 sailings now. And while I like it, it'd be nice to kind of get some fresh looks at some stuff.
I gotta say, it's so funny because I feel like across the treasure, all of the menus have something good on them, except that 1923.
I just remember not being excited about it at all. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that I'm going to tell. Listen, it's there are people. I'm not going to hate on the people who like the lobster on Disney Cruise Line. If you want to eat the lobster on Disney Cruise Line, have at it. But I'm going to be getting some pizza or eating at the pub, getting some pub grub. Well, speaking of pub grub, though, we got to go over to the new spaces on board the Disney Treasure, which are, of course, a highlight for any Parks fan. And you being a Parks fan from California in particular, I got to ask what you thought of Periscope Pub.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We watched, so Sunday, the second day, we watched football in there all afternoon. And I really liked that space. I would say my wife and I tend to really like the pub spaces. We just find them really kind of cozy, and we'll hang out in there a long time. So I think we were naturally going to like it, but we really liked the theming. It just felt very different, right? Because you got like the projection on top with where it looks like you're underwater. The bartender there, and I'm sorry I forget his name, he makes a really good old fashioned. And so we gravitated there a lot to have old fashions. But yeah, we really liked Periscope. And I would say that was the one place where we said, we should have spent more time there, because we found at night we would tend to go to like Scat Cat, Haunted Mansion, or Skipper Society.
Well, speaking of those spaces, let's start with Scat Cat. It's Aristocats themed piano bar on board. It's the same location as Nightingale's on the Wish, and now, of course, as the DeVille's Lounge on the Destiny. What did you think of Scat Cat?
I mean, the theming doesn't like resonate with me. I wasn't like a big Aristocrats person. I'm certainly familiar with it, but we really like the piano spaces on all the ships. We tend to spend a lot of time there in the evening, particularly right after dinner. We'll go. And so that was great, playing music. I think both of them, they had 2 different piano players, and I think both of them actually sang as well. So that was kind of nice. I did get, so in general, I would say, for the most part, we find the new cocktail menus on the ships to be a little sweet for our palates. And we own an ice cream business, so this is a little bit weird saying that.
No, I'm with you. I think you can find some less sweet options.
Exactly.
But I would say most of the options on the menus are on the sweeter side, in particular in the piano bar space and in Haunted Mansion.
Yep.
Yeah. I think Skipper Society and the pub, the Periscope Pub, have a little bit less sweet and more spirit forward kind of drinks and kind of better balanced drinks. And that's kind of where Brian and I land on both the Destiny and the Treasure, and of course the Wish. Like, it's just, so we tend to like the drinks in those other spaces a little bit more, even though I think we really love the Scat Cat space. Also, not huge Aristocats fans, but I think actually the theming that they did is a quite nice light touch theming.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think I would have found it weird if there's like cats everywhere.
yeah, right.
I would have been like, I don't love cats. I don't like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a dog person myself.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, well, moving over to Skipper Society. Let's go there next because I think you gotta, love the Jungle Cruise ride in order to love Skipper Society. Are you a Jungle Cruise fan?
We are, yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
We really liked it. And they had I think it's like a house band. I'm not 100% sure. It was called the Doublooners. I'm pretty sure they're just a house band. And so whatever mix of cast they had for that band on our particular scene, they were great. They were playing like a lot of, I mean, they did a lot of sets and they did a lot of different music, but they did a lot of like 80s and 90s rock that people were really getting into. I mean, there was times when he would just not sing a lyric and everyone there would sing it. And we went, I think the first night or maybe the second night to see them. And it was really good. And there wasn't that many people. There was maybe like 10 of us. By the end of the sailing, there was nowhere to sit. Like word had gotten around about these guys, and it was packed every single night on the last few nights to watch the Doublooners play. They were really good.
Yeah, I have to tell you, they are super talented musicians all across Disney Cruise Line. On the Wish class, they have made this band, the Doublooners, and I think it's on all of the ships. I'm trying to think if they've changed their names, but they I can't remember if they have the same name or different names across the 3 ships, but they're fantastic, and all of their musicians are incredibly talented, and yes, by the end of every sailing, I feel like that space is jam-packed. Whether you're in the Bayou, you're in Skipper Society, or you're in the Sanctum, that is a jam-packed space because of the music. Alright, well, we gotta, of course, talk about the Haunted Mansion Parlor because that was the star. I think that was that was the thing I think a lot of people we're looking forward to when the treasure first debuted, and I think that is still the space that most people are sort of flocking to when they get on board the Disney Treasure, and now even on the Disney Destiny, because there's Haunted Mansion Parlor on both. Spoiler if you haven't heard the news. Well, if you haven't heard the news, you've been either not listening to our show or living under a rock. But either way, yeah. What did you think of the Haunted Mansion Parlor?
Yeah, we love it. The Destiny has a different drink menu, which is interesting. But the space is just really cool. And it's different. We went in, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, and of course sat in a different spot every time just based on availability. And it feels almost totally different based on where you sit. Like one time I was in a corner and there's people whispering behind me. Another time we were by the aquarium and there's lots of effects in the aquarium, and it made the experience feel quite a bit different. I don't know if it's on the little all the little effect sequences that happen. I don't know if they're like on a loop. I don't feel like I saw a repeating one that much. A couple of times I did, but it still felt, even our last night, I was like, oh, I don't remember this happening. And
yeah, I'm not sure exact. I know there's basically 40 minutes of stuff in there, but it feels like more, but I'm not sure if it gets mixed up in its order, right? Like, I don't know if it's doing, I actually don't think it's on a 40-minute loop. I think it's on a more mixed order of things, but I don't know that for sure. Because I haven't sat in there like long enough at once to kind of figure that out. But I think it's a great space. My only complaint about Haunted Mansion Parlor is I could not really find a drink that I liked on that menu, and they don't have a regular. You can't order like a regular, like you can't order an old fashioned, for example, in there, or even a Cosmo in there, right? Like you have to order one of their set drinks as opposed to some of the other bar spaces.
We found the last 2 times we went in, because again, we were carrying around a half a bottle of wine in a glass, that after dinner we still had wine. We would just take our glass of wine and sit down and just kind of enjoy our wine while we were watching everything happen. Because same thing for us. It was cocktails were a little sweet, not terrible, but just a little sweet for us. And
I agree. I don't think they're not bad, and actually, I do think a lot of people will like them. It's just a little bit. They're definitely on the sweeter side, and it just kind of depends on what your palate is and what you like to drink. They do have some cool tiki mugs, so I gotta give that to them.
I got I bought the fisherman one. I
The Mariner, yeah.
The Mariner. Thank you. Yeah, I had to have him.
Yeah, that's the one we have, and actually, we didn't buy Poseidon on our preview cruise. And I think on the Destiny, but we're going back, as I said, in 4 days we'll be on. And I think I have to buy Poseidon while I'm there.
Yeah, you should. When we were at Beacon Barrel at Magic Kingdom, There was two people at our table, and they were going crazy because we also got the little pirate skull mug there.
Oh yeah.
And on the bottom, it says first edition. And this particular couple were going crazy. They said you can go on eBay right now and see these first edition ones from the various bars going for like a couple $100. And I was like, wow, really? I don't plan on reselling them, but still, it was some people covet those
yeah.
first edition.
Well, I know
mugs.
with Trader Sam's mugs, that is definitely a thing because there's been multiple editions of some of the mugs, of course, for years because those bars have been open for years, both at Walt Disney World and the original one at the Disneyland Hotel. But yeah, it's those first edition mugs. You can buy like a 20th edition mug now, and it is $30, but the first edition mug might cost you thousands of dollars at this point. Yeah, yeah.
What do we have to do to get Trader Sam's at sea?
I know.
Why do we not have Trader Sam's on any of the boats?
Listen, I'm with you, Chris. I think the one thing that could enhance the Skipper Society for me is if we got the bartenders and the serving staff to do the puns. They should be skippers, who flunked out as well. They are like that would enhance the experience and make it more immersive. I actually love that space because I love the Jungle Cruise, but I love the Jungle Cruise because of the puns, because of the skippers. They're just like hilariously corny, and I'm that's my brand of humor. I love corny pun humor, and so yeah, I wish that they would do that.
Did you know there's a secret menu at Skipper Society? And I think at the Inner Sanctum as well.
Yeah. Yes, where you put the 33
and
you
it's put 33 on the screen. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So with your finger, Chris just demonstrated, but for those who are listening instead of not watching, if you sort of create a 33 on the menu on the screen, it will pop up and that's the same on the Destiny. Not all of the bar spaces have it, but several of the bar spaces have it. And it is like 4 or 5 drinks. They're Club 33 drinks. And those you can order in any of the spaces that have them on that secret hidden menu. It's no longer really hidden because now everybody knows, or a lot of people
pretty widely out there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, what have we missed? We haven't talked about ports, but I don't think I'm going to even talk to you about ports today, Chris, because I feel like we
didn't do much.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Well, you went to Castaway. I guess, let's talk about Castaway.
Oh, yeah. So the whole itinerary changed. I forgot about that.
Oh.
So Hurricane, was it Melissa Michelle? Hurricane hit Jamaica like 3 days before our sailing departed. And so we had an email 2 days, I think, before we left that we're not going to Jamaica. So we did Cozumel, Grand Cayman, and then Lookout Key and Castaway Key.
Oh, you got an addition of Lookout. Yeah.
So that for us, that was better. I don't want to make Jamaica sound bad, but we were more excited about going to Lookout than we were.
Yeah. Had you been to Lookout before?
We did just once. Yeah, on our transatlantic, we stopped.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You stopped at Lookout on the way back to Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, tell me what you guys did on Lookout, and then we'll talk about Castaway.
Yeah, awesome beach day. So at Cozumel, we just got off the boat, got tacos at this place called Guisados. Really good if you're not looking for much to do. And then we got a margarita. Grand Cayman, I went scuba diving. My wife stayed on the ship, did the spa. And then at Lookout, both Lookout and Castaway, we just did beach days. So we just got off, headed over to the adult beach, went to Serenity Bay. Both times, no problem finding lounge chairs. I was a little worried on Lookout because with the Treasure being much bigger than when we were there before on the Dream, and like a half capacity Dream. I was a little worried that maybe it'd be full, but we had no problem. We had lounges right on the beach, not over the berm, actually on the beach. So we spent some time in the water. And
yeah, I think unless you go like sort of late onto the island, and you'll still find a seat, you just might find a seat that's up on the berm instead of down on the water. But there shouldn't be an issue. It's they only have one ship in port at Castaway and Lookout at a time, and the number of people that all of the ships hold, well, the Dream class and the Wish class is actually about the same. They're both about 4,000 passengers, even though the Wish class ships are technically bigger. That bigger part of it is for the LNG fuel and some of the crew spaces on board. But it doesn't really affect the passenger count for, in general. And I mean, we have found at Castaway, at Lookout, it really doesn't matter. Of course, a fuller ship, you're going to have more people, but a lot of that tends to be kids when you have the most full ship, because then you've got 4 people in a room or something like that. But yeah, we tend to find that you can find a seat. You might not find your preferred seat, but you will find a seat. It's much harder at the other port stops. Like if you go to some random beach in Cozumel, you might have trouble finding a chair.
we had originally booked an excursion with Disney. I think it was Kuza VIP Beach or something like that. And then maybe a week before the sailing, we decided to cancel it. We weren't that excited about it. And we watched some YouTube videos, and the food was a buffet, and you got like a day bed. But I was like, I just don't know we're going to love that. And so we decided to cancel. We canceled all kinds of stuff on this trip. Jamaica got canceled, but we were going to do the rum tour at Hampton Estates. And then we kind of decided we were going to cancel it, and then all of Jamaica got canceled. So that happened for us. We had Prima Notte booked, and we decided to change that to just Palo dinner. It was my wife's birthday that night. We just kind of wanted a more private experience. We had Enchante booked for the day we were at Grand Cayman, and I went scuba diving. Scuba diving wears you out.
It does.
And so I was pretty tired. Yeah. And I just wasn't really up for it.
Yeah.
And so
it's a long meal too.
Exactly. And that was part of it.
Enchante is a fabulous meal, but it's a long meal.
Yeah,
like we're talking like 3 hours.
Yep.
Yeah. You might be sitting there. And so if you're exhausted, you're not going to last through that meal.
And so we went up and said, look, we understand if we can't cancel, we'll still do it. But if we could cancel, we'd prefer it. And they said, give us a little bit. And then they called us and said, yeah, no problem. We'll cancel without fees. Go ahead and enjoy your cruise. Okay, thanks. So that was nice.
Yeah. I have to say, I have found them to be, on the most part, accommodating. And oftentimes there are people who want to get into adult dining that weren't initially able to. So oftentimes they have a wait list of people they can call anyway and get somebody else in, especially with Palo. Enchante is a little bit less subscribed than Palo is, but I'm sure that I bet that they were able to find somebody else who wanted it, or they said, well, we have enough bookings. It's not a big deal if we let these folks cancel. Well, you did Palo dinner for your wife's birthday. I love that. That's a fantastic way to celebrate a birthday. Had you guys done Palo dinner before?
Yeah, we do it every sailing. In fact, our last sailing back in April, I think it was May. It was in May out of San Diego. We did a short 3-night sailing, and we did Palo every night. We never even went to main dining.
Oh my goodness! Wait. You were on the Wonder and you skipped all main dining?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Just to be different. So we had Prima Notte booked. We did Prima Notte night 1, and in fact, we had private Prima Notte. It was just 2 of us.
It was just
no one else booked it. Which was awesome.
That's awesome. Did they give you double portion? I wish.
No, they did not. I should have asked. But we had the sommelier and the server, like just
yourselves.
Yeah, anything we needed. We were the only thing they had going on, and so that was incredible. And then I wanted to do a normal dinner, and then we only had one other night. And I was like, let's just do Palo every night. Why not?
Did you order something different between the 2 nights?
We did, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of really good stuff on that menu. We're going to be going, of course, on the Destiny next week. And we don't have a Palo dinner booked. And now I'm thinking I kind of want a Palo dinner booked because I want that agnolotti. I haven't had that agnolotti in a while. And I'm like kind of dreaming of it. But we have an Palo brunch and an Enchante between the 2 cruises. We have an Enchante dinner booked for the first cruise, and we have a Palo brunch booked for the second cruise. It's hard though. It's hard to pack in that many adult meals because they're big meals.
They are, and we did Palo brunch as well, and it's big and takes a long time. But I've always said, my wife gets tired of me saying it, Palo is my favorite restaurant, like land, air, sea. I know it's always going to be good. I know I'm going to have a great experience, great service. So I'll do it as much as I can every sailing.
I love that. I love it. I will tell you, it's probably, I don't know if it's it's very hard to say between land and sea. It's certainly my favorite restaurant at sea, no question. There's this great restaurant right next door to Aulani at the Four Seasons called Mina's Fish House.
Fish House, yeah.
Yes, Mina's Fish House.
Yeah.
Is my favorite restaurant on land. And of course it's out in Hawaii. So it's not like I get to go to it very often, but I don't know if I have to put them up against a completely different experience though. But if I had to put them up against each other, like I don't know where I'd land. I'd be honest. I can't, it's really hard. Just completely different categories of food. All right. Well, Chris, is there anything we missed? Did you guys do like trivias, bingos? Were there other activities that you really enjoyed on board?
Did a couple of trivias, music trivias. We're terrible at those.
Yeah. But they're fun.
Yeah.
Even if
fun.
You're terrible.
We enjoy them.
And then you feel dumb because somebody gets 20 out of 20.
Oh, I think every trivia, we went to 80s trivia, 90s trivia, and I walked by while they were finishing another trivia. I can't remember which one it was, but it was in fact, 2 of the 3 had to go to a tiebreaker.
Oh my God. I'm always
because
like
people
amazed.
were at like perfect scores in every one of them.
Yep.
We did Hook Barbary was really cool. I did a haircut and facial, did the whole experience. That was nice. We did a whiskey tasting there. We had some old fashions there. That's a really cool
Which was your
place.
favorite old fashioned? Was it the Hooks Barbary one or the Periscope Pub one?
I like the Hooks one a little bit better, but I like mine a little bit stronger. My wife likes it a little tiny bit sweeter. And so the Hooks Barbary one was a little bit stronger. So I like that one a little bit more. Oh, and we did the Rainforest Room for the sailing. And I would say it was interesting. I love the Wish. It was my favorite ship. There's a few things you notice when you don't have kids and you're on it for a little bit longer that we didn't like as much. The Rainforest Room was one of them. We liked it, but I didn't like that I couldn't see out. Whereas like on the Dream or the Fantasy, which is our favorite one, and we like the Wonder as well. It has the one sauna with the window, and the hot tub is outside on the kind of the deck. And just being able to see the water is really soothing. And so I didn't like not being able to see the sea. And the adult pool area is terrible. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible.
I know.
Love the rocking chairs.
Yeah,
I love the rocking chairs.
If
but
you get
the
there
space itself.
early, if you get there early and you can get a spot, but it's too small is the problem. It's not a bad, like, the pool is really lovely, the bar is great, like the seating is really nice. There's nothing bad about it except for the fact that it's too small.
Just
It's
tiny,
not,
yeah.
it's not big enough for the amount of adults that want to take advantage of that space. And then of course there's only the one hot tub and that's kind of all the way over by the water slide. So not a great location. Yeah.
And then my wife commented she had a small surgery this week, so she was under the influence of general anesthesia. Suggest if this is offensive. Again, being without kids, she said she prefers the other ships because they tend to congregate all the adult area in one spot. So when you're there in that whole area, it's just adults and you don't have kids kind of running through and running around. Whereas on the Wish class, the Triton class, whatever it's called, a lot of the space, like Skipper Society, is open. Kids are kind of running through, and even the Sarabi, at times kids are walking by, even though it's like an adult only show. And she said, they never bothered us, but it sometimes doesn't feel like you're an adult only kind of thing. And
yeah, it's very different than like on the Dream, Fantasy, Magic and Wonder, where you are the adult
the district, right? The adult district,
exactly. The bar spaces are all kind of in one area of the ship in particular. And so, I mean, the pool is different though. I'd say, like, I actually think the nice part about the Wish class is the pool is very secluded. Pool and Cove
I would agree with
Cafe is
that.
very secluded.
On the other ships, you have kids running through the adult pool area all the time. Yeah.
So it's kind of a trade-off between those two things. But I understand. Listen, I think different strokes for different folks, right? Like some people like the bars being spread out in different places. Some people like them all congregated in one area, and of course the pool being sort of out of the way is a plus and a minus, I would say. So it just kind of depends on, it's out of the way and that you might have to like figure out your way to get there and might not go there very much. And same with Cove Cafe. On the other hand, you don't have kids running through the adult pool space like you do on the other ships. So trade-offs there for sure. All right. Well, we have reached the end of our show here, Chris, and we're not going to do a full rapid fire because we did a full rapid fire with you the last time you were on. But you did just mention what your wife is not a big fan of the Wish class ships. But I've got to ask you, because you mentioned the Wish was your favorite ship before you got on board the Disney Treasure. And so I've got to ask you for your favorite ship. And maybe let's give a ship ranking. I would love to hear your ship ranking. But we gotta start with who's number one though, because that's the most important thing. The most important question is who gets that top spot.
It is a little nuanced now. So if I'm on 7 nights or more, it's the Treasure. There was just so much to do, and the variety of stuff was great. And so if it's a longer sailing, it's the Treasure. If it's shorter, I'll say 5 because I haven't been on the Destiny, but say 5 nights or less, it's the Wonder. And that's the one we've sailed the most, just because it comes out of San Diego. But if I'm on a shorter sailing, I love the Wonder, but on a longer one, give me the Treasure.
I'm with you. I would agree with you on both of those. I think they're both, I mean, those are now the Destiny's my top ship, but the Treasure and the Wonder are right there, up there. What's the next class of, or I guess you like the Wonder, but do you like the Magic as much as the Wonder, or is the Magic fall further down in the rankings?
It'd probably fall further down. I'd probably do like Treasure, Wonder. I haven't sailed the Fantasy in a long time. So let's just say Dream Fantasy at the same time, because I don't know that I really would be able to distinguish between the two. And then the Wish Magic.
Oh, interesting. So Wish has really dropped down in the rankings now that the treasure exists. Yeah.
Exactly. The problem with the Wish
yes, 3 and 4
is
night sailings. That's the
exactly.
problem.
Yeah. I'd rather go on the treasure. And
Right.
if I have to do something shorter, I'll do the Destiny at 5 nights as opposed to
Right.
like a 3-night sailing. So
that's exactly right. There's nothing wrong with the Wish. It's just she does 3 and 4 night sailings. And who wants to do a 3 and 4 night sailing?
I heard a rumor that it's going, because it has dry dock soon, right? So I heard a rumor that it's going to Europe in 2027.
Yeah, you heard that from me, Chris.
Oh, okay. So that could be super interesting. If they did some longer sailings over in Europe, I'd be very interested in it.
Yes. So Disney has not announced it, but I have announced it for them because when the last itinerary release came out a couple of months back, the only ship that did not have its like May schedule out beyond the Alaska, the 2 ships that will be sailing in Alaska, which is the Magic and the Wonder. But it was obvious because where they end, right? Their schedule ended on the West Coast. So they can't possibly be doing Europe. It's just not possible unless teleportation exists, right? So the only ship that could possibly be going to Europe based on the schedule is the Wish. And it makes sense because she needs her 5-year dry dock in 2027. And they have done now dry docks of the Dream and the Fantasy repeatedly over in Brest, France. So it would just make sense. It's the same ship. They used Meyer Werft to build the Dream and the Fantasy. And of course, Meyer Werft built all the Wish class ships as well. So it would make sense that whatever shipyard they've done those dry docks in, that they would send the Wish over there as well. And so I think that's what we're going to see in 2027. If I'm wrong, I don't know, I'll eat an onion or something because I hate onions. But yeah, so I don't think I'll be wrong. All right, well, Chris, I've got to ask you what's next. At the beginning of the show, I asked you if you had Destiny or Adventure booked. I know you don't have those booked yet, but of course, you're eyeing them now that you've seen some of our coverage of the Destiny. And then, of course, the Adventure, we'll see when she comes out in March what people are saying. And I'll confess, we don't have anything booked on the Adventure at this point. But I'm curious, what have you got next? Did you buy a placeholder while you were on board?
We did get a placeholder, and it was a little weird. I couldn't book it in the app. I had no, how you usually just go in the app. You said, yeah, I'll do a placeholder. There was no like buy now. There was no option. So we had to go to guest services. So we went to guest services, did a placeholder, and then I never got the email. So I literally called Friday, 2 days ago, called Disney, and they said, yeah, we have no record of it, but we'll still add it for you. So okay, thanks. So we do have a placeholder. Don't quite know what I'm going to do with that one yet. Well, I'm sure we'll do, because we haven't booked anything next spring out of San Diego. We always kind of do it last minute. So I'm sure we'll do something there.
Oh, nice.
If not more than one.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have a bunch of different options.
Exactly.
As we were talking, having the Magic and the Wonder out of San Diego is going to be awesome for the West Coast folks. And yeah.
We do have the westbound transatlantic booked next year. So we'd like that one so much where we booked that one again. Whereas last time we spent a few days in London, did the sailing. This time our plan is to spend a few days in Paris and then head over and do the sailing home. But the dates aren't great. So not my ice cream job, my other job, I make video games. And I have one of my projects is scheduled to release right around that sailing, which is not usually a good idea.
Not great. Yeah.
So I'm playing a little Russian roulette to see if one of them, I know
if something moves.
Yeah, to see if the project maybe moves. There is one that I really, really want to do. There's like a 9-night Mediterranean next June that goes to Dubrovnik, and I think it does an overnight in Malta. I've never seen this itinerary before from Disney, but again, those dates aren't great, and I won't know until like end of March if those dates are good. So if those dates end up working out, I might move our transatlantic to that 9-night Mediterranean. But we'll see. It'll be a few months to know.
Well, keep us posted, Chris, because of course we'd love to have you come on, talk about either of those itineraries. Those are both fantastic, unique itineraries. We love talking to folks who do all those sea days on the transatlantic sailings. And of course, all those European sailings with interesting ports are also really fun to talk about. But with that, I'll just say thank you for joining me today. I so appreciate it.
Thank you.